It's thinking about it. We're live.
Hi.
All right. So, hi people who aren't there yet because I haven't told you about it. This is Jaleesa, aka JS Living, and she's delightful. And we're just gonna chat for a little bit. This is the second one I'm doing like with another author. The first one, if you didn't see it, was Sarah Bigelow. We did it a couple days ago, and that was fun. And we talked a lot about. I don't remember what we talked about. I don't know. We talked about being an author, probably.
Right.
So, yeah, so you write like urban fantasy type stuff too, right?
Yeah, so I do like urban fantasy. Some of it's historical fiction. It's like the two crossing over. But I write other stuff too, but right now I'm focusing on that.
Yeah, cool. Do you write other stuff like under another pen name or I don't know
Well,
you very well.
no, it's cool. So my goal is to become a hybrid person. I can't think of the word hybrid. I want to do hybrid publishing. So under my pen name JS Living, I want to continue doing the urban fantasy and the historical fiction kind of stuff. But at some point, I want to transfer to. I want to also do traditional and do like YA and or new adult, just depending on where the publishing market is when I finish writing the books that I have planned.
Yeah, you just
But
never know.
yeah, I really don't. But I don't know. I've been having fun like going back to my like YA works because I have like three. They're not completely finished, but they have beginning, middles, and ends. But they all need rewrites.
Yeah.
I can send them off to an agent.
So for anybody who doesn't know, hybrid publishing means like you have some books that are indie and some books that are with a traditional publisher.
Yeah.
Um, I personally have no interest in traditional publishing. I just like don't get me wrong, like I respect people who do. I'm just like I don't want people to like tell me what to do. Like I just
You want to know what it is though? Like I really just want the advance.
yeah.
Honestly, like, self-publishing is so costly. So I figure if I can get an agent and I can like get to the point where I like sell a book and I get an advance, I can use that money and funnel it back into my indie publishing.
Yeah, that's legit.
That way I'm not, because we pay everything up front on the indie side. So funneling it back in means that it'll be less of a, cost issue.
Yeah, it's like even if you do like a crowdfunding thing like a Kickstarter or a backer kit, like you still actually have to have all of the stuff like paid for first.
Right. You have to have
Because
it
like
ahead of
nobody's
time.
gonna back a book that doesn't have a cover, like you have to have the cover already.
And
So
and the bad thing about the crowdfunding, not bad, but like the weird thing about the crowdfunding is everybody is like so into art. And it's like, so not only do I have to pay for a cover, but now I got to like find a way to pay for all of this art just to do the crowdfunding that's supposed to help me pay for this thing in the
well,
first
that's the thing is like I feel like back when I started doing Kickstarters, which was before because there's like a line in publishing for Kickstarter where there's the old days and then there's Brandon Sanderson did his and then everybody started doing Kickstarters and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
at that line was where like it was kind of established that Kickstarter is for like special editions and things like that. So like the first few campaigns I did were literally just like I want to make $500 so that I can publish my next book. And it was just, the basic editions of, I'm using this to make an ebook and a paperback and that's it. And people are still using it that way and they're still making that $500 and that's great, but like the ones that are making like the thousands of dollars, the ones that are like the splashy ones are the like foil covers, 10-year special edition, whatever. And I am gonna do that next year. I do have my first series is coming up on its 5-year, and so I want to do like an omnibus with those, and that'll be fun.
I'm
But
gonna wait on the special edition thing. My goal right now is just to finish my interconnected standalones, the first set of them, anyways. I'm gonna come back to them eventually, but right now I'm just focusing on the first set of 4, and then maybe after the first set of, because the first book was published in 2022, maybe after the first set of 4 is out, maybe like the 10th anniversary of that fourth one, or the 5th anniversary of that fourth one, that might be when I try to do special editions, because maybe I'll have some more money. But in
Yeah.
between there, I'm gonna work on the trad pub stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, and you're doing the audiobooks too, right? That's cool.
Well, so I tried to do the crowdfunding for the one audiobook. It didn't work out. So
Yeah.
so I'm like,
That's
I'm gonna redo it later this year, with Amy and her group, with the Book Bazaar group. So that should
okay. Yeah, I feel like I've heard over and over again that like Kickstarter at least is not big on audiobooks. So I was kind of curious if it would work on BackerKit, but it's probably pretty much the same audience.
I think it can work. I think I just had my hopes set a little too high with the goal. I
Yeah.
think if I lower the financial part of it, like the goal amount, I think it'll be fine. So like I was like trying to get $1,000 because I wanted to, like, get, I wanted to make sure I could cover extra things if necessary. But after talking to the voice narrators, I don't think I have to price it that high.
Okay.
So
Nice.
maybe, and also I think doing it with another group like the Book Bazaar, I would have did it with Printopia, but I don't want to do it with Printopia. I'm gonna do something else with them.
Yeah, I think Printopia is more about like art than books, right?
No,
That's
no,
more-
Printopia's books. It's comic books,
Oh,
regular
okay.
books, audio books. They're allowing everything except for like TTRPGs and
I
something.
must have misread it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but Amy's Book Bazaar group is for like all of the things. So I was like, and they're actually we're all gonna go in on like ads and things. So I think it has a much better shot of funding with Amy's group than it would with Printopia. So
Very cool. All
yeah,
right.
but
I
we'll
really
see.
want to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, I was just saying we'll see. I'm excited to find out how it goes.
Yeah.
I'll probably have the audiobook produced, honestly. So it'll just be like me essentially getting, like, being recouped for the cost.
Yeah. Which
So
is nice.
yeah, yeah, and that's what I'm aiming for. So I was like, I'll just set the goal much lower.
Yeah.
It'll just be a recouping cost thing.
I really want to do my own audiobooks, like record them myself,
Mm.
but it takes a lot of time. And also, so you have to have like a spot without any noise, which I
Yeah,
kind of feel like I could do because so my boyfriend's like a musician and he just like bought a house pretty recently and he has like a room that he like soundproofed.
yeah,
He, like
that's
hung up these blankets all over, these like special blankets. It was kind of fun. But I was like, okay, so I could probably use his like jam room to do it. And then like I've got the microphone. I know like a little bit of how to use like Audacity, the like open source editing software. And it's just more about like, I don't know, I have books to write and I have, like side gigs that, because I'm not really making like a full-time living on my books yet. I have like other
right.
shit I gotta do to like hustle, get that like rent paid and shit. So it's like, I don't know, like trying to fit in the audiobooks at the same time. But I really do want like, because a lot of my audience is neurodivergent, and a lot of people, especially with like ADHD, have trouble reading books and they really need the audiobooks. And so I'm like, I really want this to be accessible to them and of course to people with like vision issues and things like that. I have a lot of, disabled people in my readership too. And it's like, I want to be able to do this, but also like it's tough.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do audiobook. I was like, I want to be more accessible to people. I'm trying to like really start thinking about these things. So like even now when I'm like posting my reels on Instagram, sometimes I forget to like put in like the caption of like what I'm wearing, where I'm standing in front of, for like people who are visually disabled. But sometimes I remember. So I think like two of the last few posts I did, I remember to do it, and I felt so proud because I was like, normally I would forget, but because I'm trying to do better, like I think I gotta celebrate the little wins. But same
Yeah,
thing.
for sure.
Yeah, same thing with the audiobooks. I'm like, I want to be more accessible. I want my stories to reach a larger audience. So,
Yeah,
but I don't have one, like my books, only one of my books has a female character. So I was going to have to outsource the other ones anyways. And even with the short story collection, only one part of that is a woman's voice. So, but I was like, I'm not doing that myself. So I was like, I'll just pay somebody to do it and outsource it. Also, I don't have a room where I could do it. I mean, maybe my closet, but even with like sitting in a closet and trying to do it, it just seems like it would be too much work. I feel like things would fall over because my closet's pretty tiny. So I,
yeah,
I just don't think there's any good place in my little 1 bedroom apartment to do it. Um,
yeah,
and renting out a sound studio just seems like it would be way too much money when I
yeah,
don't have enough coming like in right now for that.
yeah. No, that is a spendy prospect for sure.
Yeah. And I
So
work a full-time job. So on top
yeah,
of the full-time job, just trying to record it myself, not ideal.
yeah. So I do have like the AI audio on Google Play, but it's not very good. And also, like, I don't know. I would like humans to tell my story and not
Yeah.
robots.
And all of the AI voices are just so bad. I'm just like,
Yeah.
none of them sound like a real person.
I just figured it's better than nothing, though, you know?
Well,
So
I feel like, well, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to sound ableist, but I think that Kindle has an option for it to do the AI reading for you if you don't put it in, correct?
they do. I have heard that that's actually even worse than the AI voices, though. It's
Oh,
very
okay.
So, plus I don't think that every e-reader has it. So if you don't have a Kindle, if you have like a Kobo or you're reading on your phone or your tablet, then like I don't think that that's always available there. So
See, I
I
didn't
have
know that.
I have the AI audio on Google Play. I have it set to the same price as my ebooks. So
Mhm.
I figure it's, if somebody wants to get that, it's the same price. It won't be like a prohibitive, because that's another thing is like audiobooks tend to be more expensive, which makes sense because, the narration you have to pay for and everything. But
Yeah.
and I should like download them and put them on like Kobo and stuff too, but
I just
it's
don't want to support AI in any way. So it's
well,
like
no, I
I
get
want,
that.
I want to be accessible, but I don't want to do it in a way that harms other artists and creatives. So
Yeah. Google's
like
AI has
every
not been trained on anything like without consent. So I feel okay about using that one. Especially because again, I'm going to have human narrated at some point. It's not like taking a job away from anyone either. So I feel like those are the two concerns is like the AI being trained unethically and the robot taking over human jobs.
yeah,
But it's a complicated issue for sure.
it is. It's so nuanced. So I don't know. I have very strong opinions about AI. I feel kind of bad. I was talking to a group of women the other day. Like I went to like a speed friending event, and then we like went to dinner afterwards. And I feel so bad because I realize now that when one of the women was trying to tell me about like AI covers or something, and I feel really bad because I was like, yeah, I mean, to each their own, but I'm not going to do that because that's taking away jobs. And I think I kind of railroaded her in the conversation because I just have such strong opinions about it. So I think for me, no matter how accessible I want it to be, I just can't see myself doing the AI voices.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think everyone needs to make that choice for themselves.
yeah,
And it's good. It's good that you've made the choice. I think a lot of
yeah,
people are like really confused about everything and I think that more people need to be educated about it so that they can make those decisions.
yeah. To be honest, though, sometimes I don't. It's easy to not realize that some things are AI though, because like on TikTok, I was like playing with the filter and it was a cute little one. And I posted a video because I thought it was just like a regular filter. And then later on, I was looking back at the little cute video and it was like AI filter or something like that. And I was like, oh no, I just used something AI. And I
What does
thought
that
about
even Like,
Do
what does that mean that it's an AI filter? Does that mean that like there's an image that was created by AI or
No, so like it was a photo of me, and then it like turned it into like an anime photo.
oh, okay.
And so I guess like, but it's like it was done by AI. So I was like, we know that the art stuff is usually stolen from other artists. So I was like, I don't know if I should just put a disclaimer up here that I didn't know, or if I should just take it down. So I ended up just taking it down because I was like, I
Yeah.
can't, in good conscience, say I'm against AI and then have
Yeah.
AI post up there. So.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, and then like I don't know, I use like I've been using for years like Grammarly and things like that, which are technically AI,
That's different though. It's assistive. I
but
think the
it's like
issue is
where do you draw
generative.
that line, you know?
I think the issue is generative. Like I
Yeah.
think assistive is fine because it's helping you. Like
Uh-huh.
even with people who use Chat GPT, I'm not a huge fan of Chat GPT, but if you're gonna use it and you're just like asking it like questions, like maybe you're like, hey, what's a synonym for, red? I think that's fine. You're
Mhm.
just it's just assisting you with finding something, even though you could easily Google that. But just for example's sake. But if
Sure.
you're asking it to like write me a paragraph for this particular subject using the color red, and then like you just copy and paste from Chat GPT and you don't do any kind of editing or rewriting on it whatsoever, that's problematic. So
Yeah. I do think most people who are using generative AI to write are editing pretty heavily, but
I think they miss things though. I've seen a lot of things on threads and Instagram
yeah, have
where
you?
they're like, I saw the Chat GPT prompt in it, and people are very much like, I'm not buying from this person anymore because I saw that in there.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable. I
Yeah.
think it's definitely reasonable for people to say, like, I'm not gonna consume AI generated materials.
Right.
Definitely. And
But
like,
then, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I use ChatGPT for other things. I don't use it to write my books, but I use it to like make myself a daily schedule sometimes if I'm just feeling overwhelmed and I'm like, hey, I've got these tasks. What's the best way to break them down? I'll use it for something like that. Um,
I think that's fine. That's assistive.
yeah.
It's assisting you with the task that you can do. Just like I think it's fine for like if you're like one of those people who like you just don't have the time or the bandwidth to sit there and search for like easy recipes to do online, then I feel like it's easy for you to go to ChatGPT and be like, hey, tell me a list of quick 5-minute meals that are healthy, and then it gives you that.
Yeah, I've heard you can like put in what ingredients you have on hand and it'll like give you recipes too. But
Yeah, I
I'm a
think that
chef, so I don't need to do that, but I think
I
that
think
is
that one's kind
probably
of towing
helpful.
the line, though. That one's kind of towing the line, though, because like, is it stealing recipes from people's recipe books or
Blogs,
online
yeah,
thing,
could
their
be.
blogs? Like, is it doing that, or is it better, or is it okay that you're using it because you're not using those recipes to repurpose them as your own? You're just using it so you can cook something at home. So
Yeah, as opposed to if somebody's doing that and then putting it on their own recipe blog.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think with that particular example, it just depends on the use of the recipes. But I think it's fine if you're just using it to cook something at home because you're just like, I cannot today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, which again, going back to that accessibility, like a lot of people who are disabled or neurodivergent, like if you just don't have the spoons, like
yeah, I
having
love
a robot to
spoons.
help you is great, you know?
I
Yeah,
was
I think
explaining
this
the
is
spoons.
really a fascinating topic for me, and I could talk about it for a long time.
I think we all good. I was talking to my sister about the spoons. I was like, look, you might have like 500 spoons, but I like my fatigue and stuff from long haul COVID. That's like, that
Oh,
gives me like
yeah.
20 spoons a day. And like your 500 spoons probably replenish like whenever you rest or, take
Mhm.
a shower, do something relaxing. But my 20 spoons, they don't necessarily replenish all the way to 20. Sometimes
Yeah.
they do. Sometimes they might replenish to just 5. It just depends on, and they go a lot quicker.
Yeah, I'm autistic, so like it's my spoons like it varies from day to day a lot.
Yeah, I get
And
it.
so yeah, but so yeah, having a robot to help can be sometimes beneficial.
Yeah.
But like you say, it's assistive. It's not the robot stealing information from someone else.
Well, I guess in the example of the recipes, maybe it is, but again, like, if you're, as long as you're not like repurposing it as your own content,
Yeah.
I think
It's
that.
kind of like if you have like stock images that you're downloading from deposit photos, if you're using those like in a product that you are selling, you have to buy an extended license, right? So
Right.
you have to pay more for that. But with the AI, there's no levels. It's just all the same level. And so that I feel like that's not great.
Yeah. And I also think it's an issue with like people don't know how to use it, especially like the younger, like the people in K, the kids in K through 12, even some high school, even some college students. Like, I think they think that like, oh, Chat GPT is like Google, and it's really not. It's not the same.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have to show them how like it's affecting their critical thinking skills and stuff, because otherwise they won't really get it.
Yeah. That's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that.
Yeah, I've had some conversations with some people. So
Yeah. I feel like when I was because when I was in school, I don't know how old you are, but when I was in school, like Google was new, you know, and so it was like it's almost like we had to shift from you know, everything that you cited was from books, which were usually more reliable than websites. And so like when I was in high school and college, like there was a big thing where you had to be like, okay, well, just because you found it online doesn't mean that it's true. And then it's kind of the same thing here of like, well, just because ChatGPT said it doesn't mean it's true. Like you need to be able to like sort through this information and like make these decisions of like, is this a trustworthy source?
right. Yeah, I totally agree. Um, I feel like when I was in school, we were learning how to type on computers. We still had like the old like blocky ones. I don't remember if we had Google. I know we had Microsoft Word, but it was like the really like the Windows 97 version. So I don't know.
Okay, we're about the same age then.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know when exactly Google came about, but I do remember having Windows 97 computers at school. And I remember our transition from like floppy disks to USB drives. Yeah.
I guess Google wasn't. When I say Google was new, Google wasn't actually around when I was in high school, but search engines is
I
what I
can't
mean.
remember. Well, I think search engines were there because I had AOL. We obviously had AOL. I
I
think
remember
AOL had
Ask
a search engine.
Jeeves.
What?
Ask Jeeves.
That's I remember that, but I don't know. I was in school when like MySpace was a thing, and then like slowly we like in ninth grade, like we slowly transitioned from MySpace to Facebook. Like that's
Okay, so you are a little younger than me because I was in college when Facebook came out.
okay. Yeah, so probably like 4 or 5 years younger than. Yeah, no. It was so weird, like the transition from MySpace to Facebook. That's a whole nother topic.
I was actually looking um last week. I was trying to find another thing about like, you know, shifting technology is that like photos of myself during a certain period that was like digital cameras were a thing, but social media wasn't. So we
Mm,
didn't have like prints of all our photos, but they also weren't on the internet. There's this space in my life where I don't have any photos of myself from there, and it was a really great spot too because I was doing this whole like cyberpunk look, and I really want to find those fucking photos.
I would pay to see that.
Find them. So I was like, okay, well, where would they be? And I realized that where they will be is LiveJournal. And so
Journal.
I went back to my old live journal from college and I was like trying to find things from like 2002, 2003, somewhere in there. And it exists, but I couldn't see it because it was like everything was set to friends only.
Hmm.
And so I was like, okay, I just need to like log in.
You can't log
What
in.
was my login? And so yeah, so the um the email address I used, I don't have access to anymore. So I was like,
Hmm.
figure this out. I'm gonna get in there. And so I like went to like recover my password and it was like, all right, we're gonna send a text to this phone number. And I'm like, I don't have that phone number anymore. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna send a link to this email, this other email. And I was like, I don't have access to that email. And then I was like, maybe I can get access to that email and not, you know, and so then I went back to the other email And the recovery email address for that one was the original one I've been trying to get into.
That's lucky because I tried to log into my old MySpace account and I actually remembered like my username and I thought I remembered my password, but it was like the password was wrong. But I tried to do a password reset and like you, the email I had, it wasn't the one I was using anymore. But MySpace, for whatever reason, it wouldn't let me like repurpose it. So now I'm just like, oh, I can just look at my old MySpace, but I can't go in and do anything to it.
I tried to find my old MySpace, but my name is too common. So Anna McCluskey is a pen name. So my real name is Leslie Sullivan, and that's just too common a name. And there were too many Leslie Sullivans. I couldn't find myself in there.
Oh, I looked mine up with the username. I was like, I remember the username, so that's what I looked for. And I was like, oh yeah, it's Ethereal 92. I know, I can find it.
I wonder. I didn't realize that MySpace that we used usernames. I just thought it was like because you have your like real name at the top. I should
True, but your login was like a username.
I should look that up because I bet
But
it's
the page doesn't look the same as it did when we were a kid. You know, when we were kids, it had like all the cool graphics and HTML stuff. And now you go up there and it's like all that stuff is just like blank white boxes. You can still like see your friends though, as like if they like left photos up, like you can still see them. But
Mhm.
I don't know. Why did we forsake Tom? We should have stuck with Tom.
He was so good. He was never gonna sell anything. He was never gonna, there was the permanent like thing on the side that was like, guys, I know you're hearing rumors. It's not gonna cost money. Come on, you know. It's like,
We should have stuck with Tom.
yeah.
But we all went to Zuck. And Tom went over to Zuck, and Tom was like my first Facebook friend, I think, which was odd.
That's hilarious.
I was like, "Wait, Tom, you have a Facebook? Should you not be up here?" And I think the photo is still the same too. I think Tom still has the
I
same
can picture it. Yeah.
his white T-shirt.
Uh, amazing.
Ah, um,
All right. Well, do you want to plug your books really fast? And
yeah, I can do that. I did not bring them down here with me, obviously, but so my books are The Covenant of Blood by J.S. Living, obviously. It's about Elizabeth Bathory Tepish, the daughter of Dracula and Elizabeth Bathory, who wants to find her mom, but she can't because her mom doesn't want to be found. So she hires a PI to help her, and it results in dire consequences. If you like supernatural, grim, or Lost Girl, it'll be right up your alley. Also, for those of you who really loved Sinners recently, because Sinners is the best.
I haven't seen it yet. I really want to see it.
Oh, it's so good. But for people who love Sinners, it's got black vampires in it. It's got some witchcraft in it. So, I mean, it's got those aspects and some slow burn romance. And then my short story collection is Blood Ties. It's historical fiction meets urban fantasy, and it features 3 stories from characters from my Covenant of Blood book. So, again, if you really liked Sinners, I think you'll enjoy my stuff. But I don't know. You read it and let me know.
Awesome. And I've got your website in the description of this, so anybody who's watching the replay can easily find that. So, yay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me. This has been really fun. And we got into some fascinating tangents.
Tangents that I could continue going on with.
Yes. All right, I will let you get back to your life.
Yeah. Yeah, you too. Well, thank you so much. Sorry I was late.
Oh, you're good. Bye.
All right, bye.